So it's time to take a look at the new premium platoon. I've had my eyes on this platoon for the last 3 or 4 days, mainly because of this medium tank right here. It has 4 ATGMs and I would say one of the best heat FS shells that I've seen. I actually am starting to prefer the heat shells on this vehicle over the APFSDS shells because the heat shells just did a lot more damage. I don't know why that's the case, but with this vehicle, with the Object 122 MT-MC, the heat-based shells seem to do a lot more damage. Has a 120mm main cannon, highly maneuverable, although the reverse speed is the drawback, but it is very maneuverable. Has decent frontal protection and decent turret armor. The weak spot is the lower plate from the front. So let's take this thing for a ride and let's see how it will perform. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a very maneuverable medium tank. It does turn very quickly. The top speed is okay, it's not too fast, but at the same time it's not too slow. And the ATGMs are also fairly decent. However, I would say the ATGM on this tank, yeah, it is a bit slow. It is a little bit slow, but it does get the job done. I mean, any ATGM is better than no ATGM, obviously. So you can use the rocket, the ATGMs very easily. As you can see, it is not a tandem by the looks of it. And yeah, it does do plenty of damage when it hits the target. You can use the ATGM as a, well, not exactly as high explosive. I mean, against lightly armored vehicles you will be able to probably overpressure them, but you can use it as high explosive replacement if you like. Now, in the first video here, I have been primarily using the AP shells, the APFSDS. It does get the magic dart shells, as I like to call it. And honestly, it does get the job done, able to punch through most, if not all armor. You will have no problems with penetration when it comes to the AP shell. Now the heat-based shells, that's where the fun is at with this vehicle. I don't know what's up with the heat shells on this thing, but I've in the next battle, I've used AP and then I swapped to heat, and I did not swap back to AP. The damage is really good with the HEATFS shells on the Object 122. Now, is this vehicle overpowered? And that's honestly a good question. While it doesn't feel as ratty as the BMP-1, it is still a main battle tank with ATGMs, and that ATGM bounced. By the way, that actually bounced. It happens. But I'm using heat now, and where did that shell go, you might ask? That was a ghost shell, I believe. I don't know. But when AP fails, and against certain vehicles, AP might actually fail, especially against the more heavily armored ones. While you might not necessarily have to use heat against certain vehicles, heat in some cases can actually be a bit more beneficial because it doesn't really, suffer from angle armor and stuff like that. And that was actually a really good hit in the center of the IS, and Karoo knocked out with the heat FS shell. Now, firepower wise, this is honestly a very good vehicle. It does have some pretty decent firepower to it. I mean, ATGMs, heat, and a very good AP shell. I cannot ask for anything more out of this vehicle. It is so far really good. Now, you can play this vehicle like any other medium tank. You cannot fire the ATGMs on the move, unfortunately. You have to be stationary, which is fine. Oh, a T-34, and that T-34 somehow survived. Rattle also survived the impact from the ATGM, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Let's launch the missile into the... there we go, a little double kill right there. Did not expect the Rattle to burn up, but they did burn up. The ATGM, while not being the best, I mean, you know, I'm not going to complain about a ATGM, it is still a ATGM. It's always a added bonus to the vehicle. I've heard that this vehicle has composite armor from the front on the upper plate, so the protection from the front is decent. Very similar to the ZTZ, which one was it, 88A? I think the 88A has composite armor from the front as well. The weak spot is the lower plate, and I believe you can also shoot the turret, the cupola, and overpressure the vehicle that way. Also works on all objects and T-54 based hulls. They all have the same weak spot in the turret if you manage to land a high explosive shell there. And from the front you can also shoot, and this is where, yeah, things go wrong. I did move a little bit too much forward, expose the side, and well, the team is not doing that well. I am on 10 destroyed vehicles, and yeah, nothing much I can do about this at the moment. I actually thought that this match would have been a victory, but obviously it's turning into an epic failure. You should definitely keep the sides of the vehicle protected behind cover. The tortoise is not able to penetrate the front angle because of the composite armor, but the side, yeah. If the side armor is visible, it will be penetrated, so that's one of the things to watch out for when driving the new platoon here, the new tank. Now this thing, I'll have a separate video on this monstrosity. This has a very big gun, does feel like artillery almost. It does have a huge elevation, it can raise the gun all the way up. It can be used against aircraft, has the proximity high explosive shells, which is interesting. But this is basically just, you know, me not wanting to leave the match, since, I mean, 12 destroyed tanks, I'll take it. It's a very good match, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be a victory. And this vehicle has literally no armor, which is kind of to be expected, but again, you will see this in action in a different video. Maybe I get one more destroyed vehicle here, one more kill, but I don't think that's going to happen. But from my initial experience, the Object 122 MC is decent, and this vehicle as well is maybe good. I didn't drive the third vehicle, but yeah, that was not really sure if I can call this a win or epic fail. I'll call it an epic fail. That was a very good match. Unfortunately, yeah, wasn't able to save it. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Now, this kind of does feel like the Type 6, not Type 62. This does feel like the object T62 when it comes to maneuverability, and I think it has a much better AP shell than the T62, but I'm not entirely sure. Easily able to do its job well in top tier battles. I mean, it has ATGMs. I would say definitely the main drawback of the ATGM is definitely the speed, or should I say the lack of the speed on this ATGM. Well, obviously it's not bad. I mean, just look how long it takes to go from point A to point B. Well, that was fun. And heat is loaded. One hit. And in this battle I practically figure out that I want to use heat a lot more than to use the AP, since for the first time in a very long time I'm actually leaning towards the heat shell being a bit more effective on this thing. And some revenge bomber action, but I didn't get the IL-28, unfortunately, which is much better than this thing right here, but it will work. Now the gun depression on this vehicle is not bad. It can actually surprisingly do some... I got hit by something and it didn't do any damage. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the composite armor at work there. That was the composite armor doing its thing. Hit the upper plate and stopped the AP shell. And let's see what type of revenge bomber I get this time around. The smoke is very similar to the smoke on the IT1. Does practically make a whole area. You will not going to be able to see anything in the smoke. It's practically a flashbang, but with smoke, and it's so annoying when the team starts to spam smoke at the very start of the match. And I don't blame anyone for leaving the second someone starts to spam the smoke, because that's one of the most annoying things in this game, when someone starts to spam smoke on the very start and you're trying to get to the position first before the enemy and you can't, because you can't see anything. When I open smoke I try to be completely alone, because I know how smoke spam is annoying. I mean, I'm annoyed by my own smoke spam. I can only imagine how annoying it is when someone else is spamming smoke. But yeah, this vehicle can definitely make a whole area of a map go invisible in the smoke, which is funny in its own way. But yeah, the Object 122 MC is really good. I was very surprised by the performance of this little tank. It's actually really solid. It's able to slap really good. It has ATGMs, it's fast. It is maneuverable. Maneuverability and speed are two different things, by the way. Maneuverability is how well it turns. Speed is how fast it goes, how fast it can go. It definitely can go pretty fast. Definitely my favorite part about this vehicle is the heat shell. You know, I usually like to use different types of shell, like AP, ATGM, but yeah, another fuel explosion by the heat shell. That's just beautiful damage that it does. Is this vehicle worth it? Yes, I would say definitely is. The first vehicle alone is really solid already. It does have a lot of unique aspects to it, and it has missiles, which is important. A medium tank that has all sorts of weaponry attached on it. I love it. Definitely a very interesting and unique premium vehicle that I will be playing for the next couple days, probably, just to have fun with it and probably hopefully get some really solid battles with it. But with that being said, that was the Object 122 MC. Very decent little medium tank. And well, next time when I return, we will be driving the tank destroyer of this premium tank. And with that being said, stay safe. As always, I'll see you next time.